Well, Ken, I think everyone's got their own little adaptations to their chod rig. You've got a couple of interesting ones there. Do you want to talk us through it?
This came about because a few of the day ticket waters that I visit have a wall where you have to fish a drop-off lead system, such as a lead clip. They've also got bans on like lead core. So the way I fish is mainly chod based because of the quickness, setting up late at night in the dark or the dusk. I want to be fishing straight away. So I was a little bit hindered by the walls on certain lakes. So I sort of went away and sort of thought about it and thought how I could get over it. So quite simply, the easiest way of getting over it was to create a drop-off lead system. So unlike the other chod rigs where you'll just have a single piece of line, I create an overhand figure of 8 loop. I then put the bead over there just to stop it. I then come down where I've got the boom shocker. I then have the line coming out, going into a swivel, so it is your typical inline drop-off system, but of course without the hook length coming out the end. So that allowed me to start with to fish the naked chod on a day ticket water that had the drop-off lead wall.
I think the doubled up section as well is quite important, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's something I've always worried about. It's never, I'm not even going to say it because I'm temp fake, no I will.
Yeah.
It's never been a problem yet, but it's one of the things that you can foresee being a problem.
And this bit is really a byproduct of the initial problem that I had to solve, which was to be able to fish it. And the byproduct was that this gave me a stop knot to put my chod onto to cast over. When I'm playing the fish on the chod, however, the bead slides over and the hook length goes down. And what we're now effectively doing is playing the fish on 2 bits of fluoro. So the incognito fluorocarbon I'm using here is 18 pound. So effectively now when I'm playing the fish, I'm playing it on 36 pound. So in effect, I'm nearly getting back up to my 45 pound lead core. Yeah. So I'm sort of like feeling really happy about it. And you're quite right. The one thing that really worries me about the naked chod is that you're putting all that pressure onto one bit of line. The whole reason people started to use lead core was because the helicopter on the line used to cut through the line. So really, when we talk about the naked chod, we're really talking about the original helicopter of like 2 decades ago. So it's weird how things move on and how things get so easily forgotten. So yeah. The main difference being that the lines are a bit better these days. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this sinks like a stone. And all I do is I decide how long I want my chod to be able to run. And then I just do a leader knot there and just, again, pull the bead on.
You decide that length?
If I'm fishing over a clear bottom, then I'm fishing about 3 foot. If I'm fishing over quite a sort of like diverse bottom with reed and all that, then I might go up to sort of 5 foot. I don't really go over 5 foot because if I'm casting, of course I've got that knot with the bead.
Why do you want it so far away from your lead then? I mean, personally, I have them quite close to the lead, but everyone's different.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. When I'm fishing the venue that I'm fishing now, we're casting to the opposite bank. Most anglers would have a lead clip or an inline lead setup. They cast over, when the lead lands about 3 inches away from the reeds, an almighty manly cheer goes, "Hooray!" Because like, look how close I was to the reeds. To me, if you're 3 inches from the reeds and you've got the 8-inch hook length, where's that 8-inch hook length kicking off to? It's kicking off into the reeds. And how many times when you've landed close to the reeds have you reeled in the morning and you've got the reed stem on your hook? So by placing that about 6 inches away from the lead, if my lead lands 1 inch from the reeds, I don't let off a manly war, but I go, good, because I know that my hook bait is now 6 inches from the reeds. It's not the usual sort of thinking behind using a chod. The usual thinking behind using a chod is that you're fishing over reed or over choddy material.
Yeah.
But I'm actually fishing to the reeds, but I don't want my hook length to go into the reeds. And the same if you're fishing up against an island, you're then keeping that. The other reason that I like to fish it away from the from the lead and have it sort of coming back is, again, because I want no resistance there. So when the fish picks it up, I want absolutely no resistance to the lead. I don't want it to feel the lead. So in effect, when the fish picks up my chod, because I'm fishing with a slack line, it can pick up, it's hooked itself, but there's no way it can use that lead, you know,
so
to
it's not
dislodge the
until
hook.
it hits that bead that it feels the full resistance of the lead. And
yeah, so it's swam off by then and on a slack line.
Right, interesting.
So it's almost like I'm fishing it as a running rig. So
cool.
That's the reason.
Right, the hook length section there, is that a...
This is a prototype hook length.
Okay.
It's unlike other chod materials because it's a pure fluorocarbon. We haven't, at the moment, looked at breaking strain. The problem, again, for a lot of people when they use the chod, in all fairness, is getting it through the eye. So what we've actually looked at for samples has been a diameter rather than a breaking strain. And this diameter is about 5.51. And it's really super stiff. And unlike other chod materials, because it's a fluorocarbon, you've got the heaviness, you've got a weight in there, like you have with your fluorocarbon leader. So, as you can see, I've got my pop-up on there, and unlike other chod rigs that you often see in the magazines or you see people using, I've got no putty whatsoever on the swivel.
So just use a bigger swivel as well.
It's a size 11.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Believe it or not, it's a size 11 ring swivel, no putty at all. And what you find is, with the pop-up and the weight of the hook ring swivel, that's how sad I am, I weigh things. The hook ring swivel, the hook, the new prototype, and the fluorocarbon, I don't need any putty. That will sink nice and slowly without any putty. And another reason that I think that's an advantage is if you are fishing over reed and you've got a great big lump of putty there, fine, it sits on the reed, I'll get that to start with. But as the buoyancy of your boilie goes, your pop-up goes, you've got a direct weight there that must then start to pull things down. And I often wonder if that then pulls your hook bait down into the reed or into the choddy material.
Right, okay.
So, you know, I want it just to sort of float.
Just nice and balanced. And also the fish mouth it, and there's that bit of movement there as well, isn't it, to sort of catch them out a bit.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we found with the chod is that where there's no weight on the bottom, I'm hooking a lot of fish in the top of the mouth, not on the bottom lip, like most people who traditionally use chods always seem to hook in the bottom of the lip, which is strange.
Right, yeah. So it must just be coming over it from the top and doing them in the top.
And then the other variant on the on my chod rig is basically go back to the sink rig where I've gone up 11 times. Once again, I've gone up 11 times. I've then doubled back so the knot doesn't get strangled to give it a bigger D. And again, using a hook ring swivel, this time I pushed the actual barrel of the swivel in all the way.
Okay.
I'm still getting a good separation and I'm getting a good blowback style when the fish mouths the bait and it's not pulling. You see it's going down.
Too bad.
Everyone's got a version of a version of a version, and this is my version, so yeah.